Are you a great leader? Most leaders fail not because they lack intelligence or experience, but because they never mastered the fundamental skills that separate average managers from truly great leaders. Think about that for a moment. It is not about your resume, your degrees, or how many years you have been in the industry. It comes down to specific learnable skills that most people in leadership positions simply never develop. Here is a number that should stop you cold. 82% of people quit their jobs because of bad leadership. Not because of low pay, not because of long hours, because of the person leading them. If you are in a leadership position right now, there is a very high chance you are making critical mistakes that are silently destroying your team's trust, motivation, and performance without you even realizing it. That ends today. By the time this video is over, you will know exactly what those skills are and how to start building them immediately. Now, this did not happen by accident. Over decades of rigorous research, scientists, psychologists, and leadership experts studied the world's most successful leaders. We are talking about CEOs of Fortune 500 companies, military generals who commanded thousands under impossible pressure, and revolutionary visionaries who changed the course of history. And what they found was not random. There was a clear, repeatable pattern emerging across all of them. The best leaders in the world consistently mastered 5 specific skills. Not 10, not 20, just 5. And here is the part that should stop you in your tracks. These are the exact same skills that most people currently in leadership positions completely overlook. They focus on strategy, on metrics, on results, but they miss the human fundamentals that actually drive all of those outcomes. So today, we are going to break down each one of these 5 skills, one by one, so you can start applying them immediately. Now, let's talk about the first skill. And this one might surprise you. Deep listening. Most leaders believe they are exceptional communicators because they can speak confidently, present well, and hold a room's attention. But here is the truth. Communication is not about how well you talk. It is about how deeply you listen. Leaders like Richard Branson and Satya Nadella have built legendary reputations not just for their vision, but for making every single person in a conversation feel like the most important person in the world. That is not accidental. That is a skill. Deep listening goes far beyond simply hearing words. It means tuning into the emotions behind those words, understanding the intentions driving them, and paying close attention to what is being left completely unsaid. Most people listen just long enough to form their next response. Great leaders listen to truly understand. And that difference alone can completely transform how your team experiences your leadership. So how do you actually practice deep listening in your daily leadership life? It starts with something deceptively simple. Put away your phone, close your laptop, remove the distractions that signal to your team that something else matters more than they do. Then maintain genuine eye contact, not the kind that feels like a staring contest, but the kind that says, "I am fully here with you right now." Next, ask follow-up questions. Not surface-level ones, but questions that dig deeper into what someone actually means. And then do something most leaders never do. Reflect back what you heard. Say something like, "What I am hearing you say is this. Am I understanding you correctly?" When you do this consistently, something remarkable happens. Team members feel genuinely valued. Psychological safety rises across the entire group. People stop holding back their best ideas out of fear. And here is the truth every leader needs to hear. A team that feels truly heard is a team that performs at its absolute highest level, every single time. Now let us talk about the second skill, and this one might be the most underestimated of them all: emotional intelligence. Research by Daniel Goleman shows that emotional intelligence accounts for nearly 90% of what sets high performers apart from peers with similar technical skills. Let that sink in. 90%. Not your degree, not your years of experience, not your IQ, your ability to understand and manage emotions. The best leaders understand their own emotions and the emotions of those around them at a deep level. They do not react in the heat of the moment. They pause, process, and respond with intention. When things get hard, and leadership always gets hard, they do not let pressure transform them into someone their team dreads walking into a room with. Because here is the truth. A team that is afraid of their leader will never bring their full potential to the table. And that is a loss no organization can afford. Leaders like Nelson Mandela and Oprah Winfrey did not just talk about emotional intelligence, they lived it in the most demanding circumstances imaginable. Mandela spent 27 years in prison and walked out without bitterness, choosing reconciliation over revenge. That is emotional mastery at its highest level. Oprah Winfrey built a billion-dollar empire by genuinely connecting with people from every background, making each person feel truly seen and understood. These leaders did not stumble into that ability. They cultivated it deliberately. So how do you start building emotional intelligence right now? Begin with 5 minutes of daily self-reflection. Ask yourself how you responded to stress today and why. Start journaling your emotional triggers so you can recognize patterns before they control you. Most importantly, practice empathy intentionally. When a team member comes to you with a problem, pause before responding and genuinely try to experience the situation from their perspective. That single habit will transform how your entire team sees you as a leader. Now, let us talk about the third skill. And this one separates the truly great leaders from the ones who constantly hold their teams back. Decisive decision-making under uncertainty. Here is the truth. Most people in leadership positions are afraid to admit. You will almost never have perfect information. There will always be missing data, unanswered questions, and unknowns on the table. And yet, a decision still needs to be made. Great leaders are not reckless. They are not guessing blindly. What they do is assess the situation quickly, gather the most critical inputs available, trust the judgment they have built through experience, and then commit fully to a direction. The dangerous alternative is indecision. When a leader hesitates too long, confusion spreads through the entire team. Momentum dies. And perhaps most damaging of all, your team begins to lose confidence in your ability to lead them forward. Indecision is not neutral. It is a choice that costs everything. Jeff Bezos built one of the most powerful companies in history, partly because of how he made decisions. He used what is known as the two-way door decision model. Here is how it works. If a decision is reversible, meaning you can walk back through the door if things go wrong, make it fast. Stop overthinking it. But if a decision is truly irreversible, a one-way door, then slow down, gather more information, and be deliberate. The problem most leaders have is they treat every single decision like it is a one-way door. That mental trap creates paralysis and kills momentum across the entire team. Starting today, before any major decision, ask yourself one question. Can I reverse this if needed? If yes, decide quickly and move forward. Set yourself a decision deadline, no more than 48 hours for most choices. Trust your team's input. They are closer to the ground than you think. And no matter the outcome, own it completely. That is what real leadership looks like. Now, we arrive at skill number 4, and this one is what truly separates managers from legends. Inspiring a shared vision. Think about this for a moment. People do not wake up excited to complete tasks. They wake up excited to be part of something meaningful. People do not follow titles, they follow purpose. And the most extraordinary leaders in history understood this at their core. When Martin Luther King Jr. stood before thousands, he did not say, "I have a strategic plan." He said, "I have a dream." That distinction is everything. The best leaders have an almost magnetic ability to paint a picture of the future so vivid, so compelling, so emotionally charged, that people willingly sacrifice comfort today for something greater tomorrow. That is the difference between a boss who gives orders and a leader who ignites movements. A boss manages what exists. A leader creates what has never existed before by making others believe it is possible. So how do you actually develop this skill? It starts with you. Before you can inspire anyone else, you need to get crystal clear on your own why. What is the deeper purpose behind what your team does every single day? Steve Jobs did not walk into a room and say, "We make computers." He said, "We believe in challenging the status quo. We believe in thinking differently." That belief is what made people line up outside stores for hours just to own a product. Here is a simple but powerful exercise. Try articulating your team's entire mission in one single sentence. Not a paragraph, not a list of bullet points. One sentence that captures the soul of what you are all working toward. When your team truly understands the bigger picture, something remarkable happens. The Monday morning report stops being a chore. The late-night problem-solving session stops feeling like a burden. Every action becomes a contribution to something that genuinely matters. Now we arrive at the fifth and perhaps most powerful skill of all, developing other leaders. Think about this. Any leader can produce results through their own effort. But the truly great ones? They build people who go on to build other people. That is how legacy is created. The greatest measure of your leadership is not your personal achievements. It is how many leaders you leave behind. The best leaders delegate with intention, not just to get tasks done, but to stretch people beyond their comfort zones. They mentor consistently, investing real time and energy into the growth of those around them. They create environments where emerging leaders feel safe to step up, make decisions, and even fail forward. Think of leaders like Jack Welch, who spent enormous energy identifying and developing talent at every level of General Electric. When you build other leaders, your impact does not stop when you leave the room. It multiplies across teams, across generations, across entire organizations. So let us bring it all together. 5 skills: deep listening, emotional intelligence, decisive decision-making, inspiring a shared vision, and developing other leaders. These are not theories. These are the disciplines that separate leaders who are remembered from those who are simply forgotten. And here is what I need you to understand. None of these are talents you are born with. Every single one of them is built through daily practice, honest self-reflection, and an unwavering commitment to growth. Like, save and forward this video. Subscribe to Lead North CXO channel for more such video. So here is your challenge. Pick one skill from today, just one, and start practicing it this week, not next month, not someday, this week. Because the world does not need more managers. It needs more leaders who are willing to do the work to become truly great. If this video added value to you, hit that like button, share it with someone who needs it, and subscribe because your leadership journey is just getting started.